Give it your life. It will understand, carve things out, and most importantly, some of the best prompts that you can ask is, what are some of my blind spots? What are some of my biases with this thinking? And should I be thinking about it differently? Am I even thinking about the right thing? What else am I not asking that I should be asking based on what I just asked you?
Who's this? Oh, you're an entrepreneur? Oh, you're a real estate investor. Oh, you're trying to learn from those who did it. Well, come into the lab then. Put your white coat on, gloves on, notepad, and let's build, y'all.
Experimentation officially in Q3, and I want to give you some gems that I've been leveraging. Hope this finds you well, conquering your quests and all your experiments, all experiments, that is, whether it's midterm mental and or any other life experiments. I want to get straight to the juice. One of the things I talked about in the beginning of Q1 was how to really leverage AI to and let me preface by saying this, actually, right? Because this is something that one of my mentors says that I think is really remarkable, right? And AI is not replacing anybody. By AI, you will be replaced by someone who's using AI. Okay. So human beings that leverage AI and speak to AI and let AI be their board of advisors, board of directors, the way I use it, those are going to be the ones you should be looking out for. That's your competition. AI is nothing without a human being prompting it and leveraging it with the mind that we have, the emotional intelligence and all that stuff. Now, let's not be confused now. AI can replace some and a lot of labor still. You know, there's specific situations, but for the most part, definitely think about how you're leveraging AI and how you compare yourself to your peers who are not. And the goal is it's going to be just similar to how you leverage AI today. There's levels to how you're leveraging AI. Asking questions, asking things you would use in Google is very different than how I'm using AI and how you should be using AI. And I want to share that with you. So with that said, in the beginning of the year, I talked about really getting as much input to AI as possible. So feel free to check that out, that episode. It was the beginning of the year, probably first week of the year, January. Talked a lot about getting aligned by dumping your entire kind of life story into AI so it has some level of context so that when you ask questions, it's already has that built into it and it knows kind of what you're doing. I actually have a specific bot. If you guys don't know about bots, you can go to my GPTs. You can go ahead and create yourself a bot so that it has the level of context that it should have, so that every time you ask it questions, it has that level of knowledge and it's been prompted to see things from a different lens based on what you told it to do. Highly encourage that. Paid version, do it. It's worth it. Best $20 you'll ever spend to just get as much clarity as possible, because when you don't have clarity, you move slower and you don't make decisions as fast, and money loves speed. Money follows speed. So you can make quick decisions, quick inputs, quick responses. That is where you're going to be able to differentiate yourself in the marketplace, regardless of the industry. Truly believe that speed is the name of the game. With that said, clarity is also the name of the game. And you don't get clarity by asking AI questions. You get clarity by having conversations with AI. Now, it's interesting because I always like to do this stuff. I'm actually going to do this in real time because I just haven't done it in a while. Conversation, a talk, definition for a conversation, a talk, especially an informal one between two or more people in which news and ideas are exchanged. That's important because you don't have conversations with Google, right? When you Google something, you ask a question. And when you ask a question, you get insight from that. But when you have a conversation, you are having, and I'm going to click more definitions. Here's a more detailed explanation. Conversation primarily involves speaking and listening with the goal of communicating and interacting with others. Yeah, and so because AI has the level of depth and knowledge that it has about not only the world and the internet, but it also has your context. You should be driving conversations with AI, right? If you're an audio person, speak to it and let it speak back to you, and it will always have it in writing. And I'm telling you, you are not crazy if you do this, but you will have so much clarity in a lot of different things. So this is why I wanted to share with you in Q3 that I'm having conversations with AI. The reason that's powerful is because I'm able to give it so much detailed context that, and I'll give you an example. Like, hey, like, as you know, I was trying to refinance and I was trying to do this and I came across this and I came across this obstacle, and now I want this, and this is the main outcome that I want. And because I want this outcome, here are the things that I'm thinking. But because I'm thinking of these things, what are some areas that I really should be thinking about that I'm not thinking of, that I should be thinking of, that you can enlighten me on? And is actually the right way to go? Or with the resources that I have and where I'm at in my life and with the liquidity that I have and the credit that I have and the relationships that I have, could I actually be tackling this? Am I thinking about this the right way? And by the way, am I thinking of this in the right order? And I know I can do anything but not everything. So if I can do anything but not everything, should I be doing this first? Like, having these kind of conversations is how it's going to be. Like, it will literally thank you and say, thank you for providing that context, because you said this, that, and the third, and you're trying to accomplish this, that, and this, that, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Here's why I'm giving you this advice. That's very different than asking, hey, what is the best dynamic pricing tool? Google might give you a few options, but if you say, hey, here's where I'm at, here's what I have time to do, here's what I don't have time to do, here's a new hire that I have, here's a new hire that, here's what they're doing, here's what they can do. Like, give it your life. It will understand, carve things out. And most importantly, some of the best prompts that you can ask is, what are some of my blind spots? What are some of my biases with this thinking? And should I be thinking about it differently? Am I even thinking about the right thing? What else am I not asking that I should be asking based on what I just asked you? Like, I just want to drop the mic right there. If you just take those things and start having conversation with AI and start reframing the way you ask questions, you are not asking questions. You are having a conversation. And when you have a conversation, it is no different than having a mentor who's been there, right? Now, you can even tell them specifically, here's a big one that I don't think I've shared with. When you're creating a bot, if there's a book that you really like or a framework that you've learned from a book, download the PDF version of it and upload that into the bot and say, with this framework, with respect to this framework and the core values and the insights and the principles from this book, help me start to think about this from their lens and from their theory or from their principle as you answer me these questions. And it will always do that once you've actually configured the bot to do this. And again, how to create a bot, you go into my GPT, you configure it, you tell it what you want that bot to be. Really, it's almost as if you're looking for a coach. Experiment Nation, you've heard me talk about how multiple investors across the nation are landing these lucrative midterm rental insurance contracts by making these small tweaks on the branding and marketing side, especially if you're an existing short-term rental operator. There is a quick and easy shift that you can make with the ride guide in place. And because we've launched a 2-day boot camp that not everyone could attend in real time, I've put together a recording where you can get all the materials and all the guides to focus on rebranding either your short-term rental business or your current midterm rental business, so that you can actually have the insurance companies reach out to you. And then day 2 is, if you want to actually play offense, how you can reach out to them by listing on the right platforms, etc. If you're looking to get this MTR bootcamp so that you can start optimizing and you can start receiving these lucrative contracts that, again, provide less headaches, less turnovers, unlike the Airbnb space, you can start receiving inquiries today by having the right guide in place. So please go to experimentrealestate.com/MTR bootcamp or click the link in the bio to make sure you get your hands on the midterm rental insurance bootcamp to fast track your way into landing these lucrative insurance contracts the exact same ways multiple investors have taken advantage of this unknown and untapped niche within the midterm rental umbrella. are a consultant or a board of advisor and you say, hey, this is what I want this board of advisors to do for me. I want this board of advisors to do X, Y, Z. I want this board of advisors to help me financially, help me on growth, help me on marketing, help me on this, and by the way, also be able to call out my inefficiencies in areas where I'm lacking, lacking resources or lacking implementation, or possibly, please help me pull out my strength as much as possible, my advantages, my unseen advantages, my known advantages. Like, you really want to lean in and give it as much conversation as possible to give the context. And then what you really want to do is you really want to start copying and pasting this stuff into like some documents that you can refer back to as reference points. Because if it gave you that, what you might ask for it to do as well is like, can you help me with an action items list and keep me honest? Because now you can go back and say, hey, I've done this, that, and the third, that, and now I'd like to accomplish this. Is this still the right path? Or you can come back with new outputs and say, hey, these are the outputs I got from the inputs you provided. Is this still the right approach, or do we actually pivot with the new output that we got? Because remember, one of my favorite quotes, I think it's from Alex Hormozy. He talks about same input, no changed behavior is stupidity. Uh, Same output, changed behavior is intelligence, right? So when you have a different output, or for lack of better words, you get the same, you get an output, you want to be able to measure what the new input is going to be. If you keep on putting the same input with the different output, then you haven't learned. And if you're getting new information that then tells you that you should actually be providing a new input, then that's how you actually get change, right? And transformation, right? So it's really important that you leverage the tool to come back and refer back to it, and encouraging you to have conversations with AI versus asking questions. There is a difference. And you know what? While I'm on here, I'm going to type in questions meaning. A question is a sentence or phrase used to elicit information, express doubt, or initiate a discussion. So remember, you can lead with a question, but most people typically stop there. Lead with an actual conversation to start a conversation rather than a question. Remember, not all questions are created equal. So sometimes a really good question can open up a conversation, but you want to make sure you're opening up the conversation. Like, you might say, Ruben, I'm confused. What's the difference between the two? All you're doing is providing as much context as possible, right? You're saying, hey, you're obviously asking a question in the end, but you're giving it context. Here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm trying to go. Here's the current obstacle. Here's what I think is an obstacle. Is it really an obstacle? Am I thinking this correctly? And with that said, my question is, what should be the next step, or who should be my next hire, and what should be who should I actually be hiring based on what I said? Is that the right order? Should I do this first or should I do that first? Start having a conversation, go back and forth. Oh, you mentioned this. Is that something that I could do without? Can you actually help me structure this without I don't have to come out of pocket? Maybe I can create a win-win situation, strategic partnership. Guys, I've done this for offers that got accepted. We're closing on the deals. I've done this for rebuttals of appeals. I recently recorded in a video where I peeled the HELOC that way. I, I mean, I'm getting strategy on who are the next vendors I should be reaching out to before I even need to reach out to them. Which banks, portfolio lenders versus, like, I'm getting a lot of insights from having conversations with AI than just being asking these direct questions. So with that said, I am certainly not the only nor am I even close to being an AI wizard. What I will share is, I think I had this course that I actually don't even know. I kind of fell off and I need to revisit it. But it was oh, what's the course called actually? I was taking this AI course, and I really encourage you to do the same. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up here shortly. So I think it's called Course IV. It's I thought it was called a different name. I don't know if they got acquired. I could have sworn it was a different name. Anyways, it's a 28-day AI challenge. I started to go through it, but anyways, I think it's in our best interest that we get familiar with these tools, because you will get left behind if you don't, because someone else will, and they will outcompete you, outbeat you, outthink you, out strategize you, and we are living in a competitive space, but you're still early because most people are treating this like uh a search engine when instead of driving conversations. And I would highly encourage you to download the ChatGPT. And again, there's multiple out there, so explore other platforms. ChatGPT is one of many, but use the talking, using ChatGPT 40, I think it's called. Just use the talking feature. Be quick. I mean, instead of typing, be quick and talk to it and come back. Matter of fact, we used it the other time to speak with one of our cleaners who was Portuguese, and we asked for it to translate the language as we were speaking real time. So she was speaking Portuguese, and it was translating in English, and we were speaking English, we're just translating Portuguese. I mean, look, the bar is just, we are just getting warmed up, and it's just so exciting. If you're a thinker, if you're an implementer, if you want to move quickly, if you want to be strategic, you literally have a board of advisors in your back pocket that you can leverage. So with that said, don't sleep on this, because it certainly won't be sleeping on you. Someone else is going to be using it, and they're going to be getting results in their sleep, for lack of better words. So let's get after it. Let's conquer the rest of Q3. I'll leave you with that. Start driving AI conversations rather than AI questions. Let's build. Remember, if you're looking for a guide, AI is one. And if you are listening to this and you want to get into temporary housing, you really want to scale, really want to grow, we have a mastermind. Make sure you have a new page depending on your level, because you might be listening to this. You might be like, hey, like, I don't really know where I'm at. Go to experimentrealestate.com/connect. That's CONNECT, connect. And there you can see how you can start working with me where, right? We have some challenges, we have some free resources, we have some existing courses. My goal is to educate as many operators as possible so that we can become partners in the corporate contracts that we're constantly working nationwide. So regardless where you are in the nation, if you're an operator who wants to not only learn how to fish, we'll teach you how to do that, but then you can also be part of a community that's there to serve at scale, to increase your occupancy and profitability, and your network to continue to be occupied day in, day out. For yourself, you can learn, and you can join a network that's constantly bringing in you leads. So join, depending on where you're at, experimentrealestate.com/. Go to that page, connect, and you can see which tier is the best for you, depending on where you are in your business. There is a place for you to get started, regardless where you are. There is a place for everyone to start, to take action. And that's the best thing you can do. Start with where you are, and the sky is the limit. Let's get after it. Cheers. Experimentation. I believe there are two critical components that will help you achieve your goals very quickly and succeed. Number one, it's information like this that you received on a show, in an episode, and content that you can find on my YouTube channel or anybody's channel. And then there's a community. And the way we've been able to expedite our process, the way people in our community, people that we consult, mastermind members, whoever, they get the information on an episode like this, but then they also have a support, whether it's me guiding them or being guided through a community. There is an opportunity for you listening to be able to expedite your process, or even expedite your results that you're seeking by being part of the community. If that is what you're interested in, we at Experiment Nation happen to have a community devoted to helping maximize your occupancy and your profitability altogether, regardless of which market that you are in. And for that reason, you have an opportunity where you can go to experimentrealestate.com/submit if you're looking to work in an environment that can help you prosper faster. Call out any areas that you might not be familiar in, especially the blind spots. That's where a guide comes in hand, and I would be a pleasure and honor to be your guide. But in order to make sure you're a good fit, make sure you go to experimentrealestate.com/submit so that my team can go ahead and take it and see if you're a good fit to join the mastermind and the multiple programs that we have. In addition to that, I'm also now a YouTube partner, which means that I want to give you more access to information, more access to Q&As, more access to the questions that actually come out of our mastermind that help people expedite the process. We've seen people get anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 to $6,000 to even $7,000 a month net on just one door by applying the strategies that we use by working with corporations and furnished accommodation in a very strategic way. So if you're interested, make sure you also subscribe, because I'm going to have different tiers that's on YouTube now that we've become YouTube partner to continue to be the bridge to your success in your lab. And your lab means your life, your goals, or wherever you're trying to head. So make sure you also hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/real estate experiment. We'll be there. You can also look us up at Midterm Rental Insurance Experiment. We will be there. Make sure you hit the subscribe, because that's when you'll know the tiers that are available to you that make sense for you in your marketplace for your results. Remember, you're only one experiment away. Let's build.